Foxtrot 3 Alpha Charlie.
Alpha Charlie, Roger, Roger. What's the name there?
Alpha Charlie, Roger, Roger. What's the name there?
Yeah, the name is Bob, Boston Ocean, Boston. We're located in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area.
Roger, Bob. And what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger, Bob. And what radio are you running today, sir?
We are running an Elecraft K-4 and with a expert amplifier doing about 1100 watts to an old band doublet at 65 feet. How copy?
Yes, sir, Bob. This really sounds beautiful. I think you've got it well in hand there. Your dynamic range is about 3 dB, which means your average percent of peak modulation is between 80 and 85%, which is just perfect. And we'll be recording this as we are now and laying it up on to YouTube tomorrow by noon. So if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call, let us search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording, Roger.
Followed by the word logbook. I will take you to this recording, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Thank you very much. And we have spoken before. I forget your name there. This radio has something called Controlled Envelope Single Sideband, CESSB. And you're probably familiar with that. It does give a couple dB of audio boost, and we have it set, it can go from 0 to 30. We have it set right around 21, which according to the Elecraft people seem to give the optimal audio. And thank you very much for that report. You're about S9 to 10 over here. And very nice signal. I believe you're in Indiana or Illinois. So your name and QTH. Again, name here is Bob. We're outside of Philly, halfway between Philadelphia and Trenton, New Jersey, not far from where General Washington crossed the Delaware in 1776. Back to you from K3AC.
Roger, Bob. Name here is Jim, Juliet India Mike, and we're located just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. And you were talking about that envelope control you have for that radio. Would that be something similar to Drive on the 7610, would you say?
Drive on the 7610, would you say?
Negative. No. This particular feature, actually takes the place of the speech processor in ICOM, Yaesu, and Kenwood radios. The only other manufacturer, to my knowledge, that is using controlled envelope single sideband for their processing is Flex. Flex started with it, and the Elecraft designers put it in this radio, which is, of course, a much newer design. I don't think it was in their K3 radio, so if you search on that, you'll see articles. It's abbreviated CESSB, Charlie Echo Sugar Bravo, and it allows the sideband envelope to be compressed and crank this thing up according to what I've read all the way up to 30 without much. What I've read all the way up to 30 without much distortion, unlike the ICOM Kenwood and Yaesu compressor. So yeah, it's an interesting circuitry. I'm not an expert on it, but the designers at Elecraft, they're engineers, and they put this thing in this radio, and I get good reports with it. So there you go. And I suspect that the Japanese manufacturers will probably make that a feature also. It's a nice thing. It allows you to, basically, they say, gives you like the effect of a linear amplifier without having an amplifier. Probably not quite true, but adds another 2 or 3 dB gain there. So back to you, Jim. Okay, on the QTH near Indiana, near the Ohio River, from K3AC.
Roger, Bob. Well, like again, I said, your dynamic range, I'm looking at your audio on a VU meter that's tied to the output of the radio along with a spectrum analyzer. And ballistically on the VU meter, I can tell, that your dynamic range is approximately 3 dB, which means your average percent of peak modulation is around 80 to 85%, maybe a tad hotter. But, if you go any more than where you are, you would start to blur. So you're not blurring at the moment, but and that's what we say. What we shoot for is a 3 dB dynamic range audio wise. Roger.
What we shoot for is a 3 dB dynamic range audio wise. Roger.
Roger. Yeah, like I said, the range on this CESSB goes from 0 to 30. And from what I've read from all the users, we have a users group for the K-4, and the owners are on there, and they're two hams that are electrical engineers that design the thing. Anyway, the sweet spot seems to be about 20, and we have it set at 21. I see it on the meter. When you're in transmit, you have 4 meters on this radio, Jim. You have the ALC meter, the compression meter called CMP, that goes from 0 to 30. You have the RF power output, and we're running about 18 watts here into the amplifier. And you have the SWR, which right now is about 1.2 to 1. So, thank you for that report. Glad we have it set. The microphone, for your information, is an Electro Voice RE27. And we're working EQ. We have tried the inboard EQ in the radio. It doesn't seem to be quite as powerful or as effective as this outboard unit. So that's the setup here. The radio EQ is flat. The EQ Plus bass is flat. The EQ Plus bass is at 12 o'clock. The treble is at about 2 o'clock position. So we have a little bit of treble boost there. Anyway, we'll let you carry on with your grouping there, and thanks very much. Nice chatting with you. Hope you and your family had a Happy New Year. Thanks again for the report. Back to you from K3AC.
Yes, sir. Well, during that conversation, I went down to my local antenna, my local radio. I'm running the 7300 on the local, and the frequency response was displayed on my spectrum analyzer. I'm no filtering, just straight across flat out of the 7300, and you really look good. Frequency response. Look down to about 60 cycles, somewhere in there, and the top end was nice and bright. And it did have a little noise on my local antenna, so I have been copying the mail mostly on the Milford SDR. And, those SDRs roll out at about 300 cycles. So, I have a chevron over on the right side that shows where I am audio-wise. So I've been running between it's actually Milford. I have a difficulty in nomenclatures today because Milford was tied up until after airtime, and I just managed to catch it on another SDR. So when it says Georgia on my SDR, it's really Milford. It's really confusing day to day, but I'm glad to have Milford as an SDR backup. It helps so much for some of our 100-watt friends. So anyway, Bob, let me say 73, sir. You have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. Roger, Roger.
73, sir. You have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. Roger, Roger.
Yeah, Roger, Jim, thank you very much. Yeah, Milford, I believe, that's in Pennsylvania. I don't have the SDR hooked up here. I do have that capability, but it's not active right now. I don't have the PC on. This radio is an SDR. It runs Linux. but I don't have it connected to the PC, and I'm not on the internet, so we're just running the receiver directly from the antenna. And the antenna, as I said, is a 80 meter. Okay, thanks again, Jim. You have a nice weekend, and thank you very much for the report. You have a nice weekend, and thank you very much for the report. And glad to hear that the radio sounds good. Back to you for any final comments. We'll let you carry on and say 73. This is K3AC.
Roger, Roger, Bob. 73 there, sir. Sounding really choice, and I think you'll like your recording. We'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow on a call in a search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. 73, sir. This is Friday afternoon, Qso-Vlog net. We record now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.